As I'm recording this, Russell Westbrook is still a free agent, and for the first time in nearly 20 years, there's a real possibility that a former NBA MVP doesn't get another contract. Think about that. A few years ago, Russell Westbrook fans were hoping he'd finally win a championship next to Nikola Jokic in Denver. Today, they're hoping somebody signs him for the veteran minimum. So, what happened? How does a former MVP, a 9-time All-Star, one of the greatest athletes the NBA has ever seen, end up here? I think the answer is something a lot of basketball fans don't want to admit. Now, before everyone runs to the comments, let's make something very clear. My problem has never been Russell Westbrook. My problem has always been how basketball fans evaluate point guards. And I don't think any player illustrates that better than Russell Westbrook. Now, in his prime, he was incredible. The 2017 MVP, well-deserved. 4 seasons, averaging a triple-double, historic. He's definitely a first-ballot Hall of Famer, and none of that is up for debate here. But I think fans have spent years confusing production with point guard play. And that's why I believe Russell Westbrook has become one of the most overrated point guards of the modern NBA era. Now, when Westbrook averaged a triple-double for the first time during his 2016-2017 MVP season, it was unbelievable. Nobody had done that since Oscar Robertson, and it deserved every headline that I got back in the day. The second time, it was still impressive, but by the third and fourth, I started asking a different question. If these numbers are so historic, why isn't it translating into championships? Because somewhere along the way, the conversation stopped being about winning and it became about the box score. And I actually think Russell Westbrook unintentionally cheapened the triple-double. Not because averaging one isn't incredible, it is, but because fans stopped asking whether those numbers were leading to winning basketball. This is the biggest disagreement I've always had with Westbrook fans. Whenever I'd say, I don't think Russ has elite court vision, or I don't think he has great basketball IQ, people would immediately say, but he averaged double-digit assists. What do you mean?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Okay, and an assist isn't the same thing as running an offense. Anybody can make the pass after the defense collapses. The greatest point guards see the play before it develops. That's what court vision is. It's anticipation, not reaction. Russell Westbrook dominated the basketball. He dribbled for 15, 18, sometimes 20 seconds, attacked the paint at full speed, the defense collapses, and he dumps it off. Yes, that counts as an assist, but that counts exactly the same in the box score as Steve Nash manipulating an entire defense for 10 seconds before throwing a teammate wide open. They're both assists, they're not the same basketball. That's the difference. When I think of the greatest point guards ever, I don't immediately think about stats. I think about guys who controlled games. Magic Johnson, John Stockton, Steve Nash, Chris Paul, Jason Kidd, Tony Parker, Rajon Rondo. Those guys manipulated defenses. They controlled pace. They understood time and score. They knew when to attack and when to slow everything down. They made everyone around them better, not just because they got assists, but because they controlled the entire flow of the game. Russ, I think he's one of the greatest athletes to ever play point guard. I don't think he was one of the greatest point guards. There's a difference. If my goal is to win one game in January, yeah, Westbrook can overwhelm me with his athleticism. If my goal is to win 4 playoff rounds, I'm taking Magic, I'm taking Nash, I'm taking Tony Parker, Rajon Rondo, before I'm taking Russell Westbrook. Every single time. And that's because playoff basketball is different. The regular season rewards production. The playoffs reward decision making. In the regular season, your athleticism can overwhelm teams. 82 games, back-to-backs. Teams don't have time to prepare for every tendency. The playoffs are different. You play the same team up to 7 times. Coaches have days to study every possession. Every weakness gets attacked. Every bad habit gets exposed. And I don't think it's a coincidence that after KD left Oklahoma City following the 2015-16 season, Russ never made it past the second round. Even more telling, Russell Westbrook has never won a playoff series without Kevin Durant, James Harden, or Nikola Jokic. Think about that. We're talking about the 2017 NBA MVP, one of the greatest athletes the league has ever seen, yet every playoff series victory came alongside another MVP, future Hall of Famer. At some point, we have to stop asking who Russell Westbrook played with and start asking why every team eventually decided they couldn't win playing Russell Westbrook basketball. Which brings me to what I think was one of the biggest what ifs in NBA history. Everybody always asks, what if KD never left the Thunder? I actually think the better question is, what if Oklahoma City traded Russell Westbrook instead of James Harden back in 2012. Imagine that. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Serge Ibaka, all young and in their primes. Could that have been a dynasty? Could they have won multiple championships? We'll never know, but I think it's one of the biggest what ifs we've ever seen in this league. And as a Laker fan, this is what really got me. Back in the 2020 NBA playoffs, the Lakers played the Houston Rockets. The scouting report was simple: sag off Russell Westbrook, pack the paint, dare him to shoot, and it worked. The Lakers literally showed the rest of the NBA how to defend Russell Westbrook. So when the Lakers traded for him during the 2021 offseason, I couldn't believe it. I honestly thought, didn't we just prove why this can't work? And here's what makes it even worse. The Lakers had reportedly been pursuing Buddy Hield, a player who actually fit alongside LeBron James, a floor spacer, a career shooter. Instead, they pivoted to Russ? Whether you blame the front office or the GM's influence, I think it became one of the biggest roster building mistakes of the LeBron era. The Lakers didn't trade for Russ to compete for the play-in tournament. They traded for him to win a championship. Instead, during the 2021-2022 season, they finished 33-49. They didn't lose in the play-in. They missed the postseason entirely. Think about that for a second. The Lakers are one of the greatest franchises in professional sports. And in franchise history, they've only missed the playoffs 12 times. And one of those seasons came with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook. That's not just disappointing, that's historically bad. Russell Westbrook made over $44 million that season. In my opinion, that's one of the worst pay-for-performance seasons I've ever seen from a max contract superstar. People love pointing to his averages: 18.5 points, 7.4 rebounds, 7.1 assists. It sounds pretty good until you actually watch the games. 44% from the field, 29.8% from three, nearly 4 turnovers every game. It reminds me of Skip Bayless going crazy every morning calling him Westbrook. But
we're about to get to the
Watch this is
my
right here.
favorite of the night. Whoops.
Oh my goodness.
Russ,
that's what I like. Are you kidding me?
Even those numbers don't tell the story. Basketball isn't played on basketballreference.com. It's played possession by possession. The rush pull-up jumpers, the live ball turnovers, the missed defensive rotations, the momentum-killing decisions, those don't show up in a stat line. They absolutely decide basketball games. Another thing that has always bothered me was how often Russell Westbrook let fans become part of the story. Look, if I'm paying thousands of dollars for a courtside seat, I'm probably going to do a little bit of heckling. That's just sports. Michael Jordan dealt with it, Kobe dealt with it, LeBron and Steph deal with it to this day. I always felt like Westbrook spent too much energy arguing with the crowd instead of proving them wrong on the court. Again, that's not why he's still unsigned, but I do think it reflected something I saw throughout his career. Too much emotion, not enough control. So, why is Russell Westbrook still unsigned? I don't think it's because NBA teams forgot how talented he is. I think it's because NBA front offices evaluate basketball differently than fans do. Fans celebrate highlights. Fans celebrate effort. Fans celebrate triple doubles. NBA executives ask one question: does this style of basketball help us win championships? And here's the part that really made me rethink Russell Westbrook's legacy. As I'm recording this, he's still unsigned. Think about that. Not just contenders. Teams near the bottom of the standings aren't exactly lining up either. If a former MVP, a 9-time All-Star, and a future Hall of Famer can't find a roster spot, maybe NBA front offices are seeing something that basketball fans have refused to acknowledge for years. Maybe Russ signs tomorrow, maybe he doesn't, but I think the fact that we're even asking that question about a former MVP tells you everything. Because this isn't about athleticism. Nobody questions that. This isn't about effort. Nobody questions his effort either. It's about winning basketball. For years, basketball fans celebrated Russell Westbrook for things that made him exciting. NBA front offices evaluated whether those same things actually translated into winning. And I think that's why we've reached this point. Russell Westbrook is an NBA Hall of Famer, one of the greatest athletes to ever touch a basketball. 2017 MVP season was well-deserved. 4 triple-double seasons were awesome. None of that changes. But when I evaluate point guards, I value court vision over counting stats, decision-making over highlights, championship impact over regular season accolades. And if I need someone to win 4 playoff rounds, I'm taking Magic, Chris Paul, Tony Parker, and Rajon Rondo before I'm taking Russell Westbrook. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I think the last several years have proven that NBA front offices are starting to agree, and maybe That's the Russell Westbrook problem nobody wants to admit.